I think you just be saying things.
Woo.
I like it when you say these things.
What up, y'all? It's
I
ASADAH.
think
What
you just be
ASADAH
saying
says. You
things.
know I love that song. I must be
I
saying things.
like
That
it
was
when you
made
say
by
these things.
Coach T and Vessel. Well, we're gonna have a great show today because this month of August, I'm focusing on Get It Black Travelers. And today we're gonna be introducing a sister named Pearl. Pearl Ramsey is the bomb. But before we start, guess what? I gotta tell you about the female solution because if you don't know, you don't know. But that's why we're here today because of the female solution. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after these quick intro messages. And I couldn't even show y'all all the pictures. We're going to have a part two. I love y'all. Don't go nowhere. See you in a minute.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
Yes, indeed. Like I said, man, we here to rock and roll. Why? Because black people ain't just sitting on the south side of Chicago just like this. No, they traveling the world. And today on the side of says we gonna get it with my girl Pearl Ramsey. I'm bringing her on right now. I don't want to waste another minute. Ow! There go my baby. How are you, darling?
Hello, Grand Rising, sis. Wow.
Yo,
Morning.
yo,
Morning.
I'm gonna have a
It takes me
trivia.
a
I'm gonna
minute.
have a trivia with y'all in a minute. Cause if you know her, she looked like her mother, but I ain't gonna tell you who her mother is till another time. It's gonna come and she another community person. But yo, Pearl, I'm so happy to have you here on the side of says because and you actually inspired my theme for this month because y'all, I was in the restaurant the other day and I was like, I looked out the window, I said, is that I said to Joy, her mother. Oh, I said it. Damn. I was like, is that your daughter? And I just ran, I plastered myself against the window and I just thought about your travels. And I was like, you know what? That's what I want to focus on. I want to show the world how we do things when we don't stay put and we go out in the world. So, first and foremost, my darling, um, just can you just rattle off real quick from memory where some of the places you've been because I'm going to match it with images. We're going to talk about it and then we're going to talk about the why. So just go like that, like, oh, I've been to just go ahead.
Do I have to do it in that accent?
Yeah.
First, I just want to say thank you, though. There's no place like home, though. So it's really a beautiful honor to be asked by your fellow kin, men and women, to be on these platforms like this. All the places you could travel in the world, there is still no place like home. So I appreciate the appreciation and the
Mm,
love and being seen. So thank
thank
you for that. I always it's always difficult, but um, I've lived in France, I've lived in Doha, I've lived in Germany, I've traveled to. Just recently, I was in the Azores Islands in Portugal, sailing. I moved to Iceland in November, so I
you.
was living in Iceland. Came back home for the garden. I've lived in I mean, I've traveled to Istanbul, to Oman, to of course Abu Dhabi, to Dubai, to um, Saudi Arabia. There's this they call it an inland sea that's
Okay.
in the middle of the desert between Saudi Arabia and Qatar.
Okay.
Um, Monaco, Spain. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's just so many places. I truly do
I just love it.
forget.
I mean, this is what we supposed to do. What you're doing, what you're saying, that reality, in a minute, I want to find out the why, right? Because a person we got some people in Chicago that ain't been to the other side of Chicago. They live on the west side, they ain't been to the south side, they ain't been downtown. But here you are, you've gone around the world. Let me start a little bit first before we go traveling, picture and video wise.
Mhm.
I just love who you are as a community person because, like you said, coming back home to the garden. And I don't know if people really know what that is, what that means. And so, first of all, are you from Chicago? You were born and raised there?
Yes, I was
Okay,
born in Houston, Texas. My family, mother and father from New Orleans, but
got.
I
I
was
know
born
that.
in
Yeah.
Houston, Texas. Yeah, and then so raised from like a 6 months old
Yeah.
until
Okay.
yeah.
Well, the garden, baby. Look at it. Boom. Welcome. Is this the garden you speak of, my darling?
Yes,
So
yeah.
talk a little bit about it because you don't take it lightly. And I mean, I have your family members talking about, oh, it's something going on in the garden today, and in the garden with the tie, and we growing this in the garden. So talk a little bit about where is this garden, and what was your intention for maintaining it? Did you create it? Those things.
Southside.
Wow, so
It's
good.
Southside. It's all right out right in Chatham. Yes, the garden and community has been always integral, to my family, um, in terms of self, in terms of culture, in terms of history, in terms of like connection, to identity. So community has been a great mirror for me to be able to assess true progress. So I don't ever see my life as a operating as a silo, um, without an ecosystem of a community. So I love, being a part of that when I travel, because it's like the travel is propelled by something greater than just putting notches on my belt. It's a part, for me, it's like, how do I translate those experiences into a way that's palpable to inspire others to be able to reflect that world where people are, to inspire people to see themselves as a part, like this whole world is yours. It's this whole creation that God has given us. It's yours. And so to not feel as if you're traveling or having a destination is outside of reach, because it's all your home. And so being a part of the land. The garden for me, I think every great story, and I'm a believer in Christ, so every great story in the Bible, there it starts in the garden. And so I understand why. Because when you look at, all of creation, the fundamental creation is created from a utilitarian function, like every plant and organism, water, all of that came from the purpose of supporting and maintaining life. But gardens are different. Just like bees and butterflies are so integral to humans in terms of our existence, gardens are not necessarily, in terms of fundamental, function in the ways that life has to procreate. Gardens are about beauty. It's about stillness. It's about awe. It's about majesty. I feel like garden is where God was like, okay, I got the basics down. Now I'm gonna play. So I feel like, humans are the garden of humanity. It's this playful aspect of beauty that is like, you look at a flower, and it's not fundamentally, you don't really need a flower except for bees for the purpose of pollinating, but you do need trees for the purpose of, you know um, being able to convert carbon monoxide dioxide when we breathe carbon dioxide into oxygen. So there are things that are fundamental, but garden has a different, it steals your soul in a different way. So having a garden on the south side of Chicago, and there's so many beautiful things about being on the south side of Chicago, but I wanted a garden to be a place for Black Americans to be able to connect with their humanity without feeling like it needed to be for a cause, needed to come together to combat gang violence, like all of the things that feels like it's dumped in our pathways to life, where we're always having to take our energy to just survive, to always have to, let's come together for this and we need to do that. And for me, gardens, I wanted people to be a part of a space that really began to cultivate and nurture their humanity. They wanted to be there because they just felt
Mm,
compelled to be there. And then, of course, there's all these different sort of like health benefits and being in the soil, being in the sun, being among nature, being able to understand seed life and how those particular seeds become a part of living a living life, um, healing property in our lives. So for me, the garden was like, it wasn't about just creating a block club or coming together and making residents aware of things happening around them. It was something that I wanted to stir people. I want children to be able to remember a garden as a staple in their life. Like, oh, I grew up near a garden. Like
Right.
for that to be something that plants an awareness that when they touch the dirt, they begin to see themselves a part of life. They
Mm,
begin to realize and they are empowered to know that I can feed myself with a
right.
dirt and seed and a window. Maybe you don't, maybe you live in an apartment building or wherever you might live. If you are near sun and you have water and a
Hmm.
seed and soil, you can produce life that's sustainable. And so it was really important to, when I deal with the weeds in the ground, to pull up the weeds and by hand, not chemicals. So
Mm,
nothing is there in the garden that we're using chemicals in order to deal with it. I first wanted the garden space that was there. It was these three homes that were torn down through demolition through the city,
okay.
and so
Okay.
it became a dumping ground
Mm,
for a lot of people. So what ended up happening, our Alderwoman's office and our state's attorney, they got together and they decided to put 6 beds in the space, but they
mm.
didn't really talk to the community about it.
Oh,
They
wow.
didn't engage the community, so it just became another place that people would pass by, and so
Okay.
there was no. It's a, management and stewardship is so important. That's why it's important for the things that you're doing. So important for many of us that God has given a dream to or given some type of vision to steward it, and not necessarily because it may be or begin in the way that you see the fruition, that you see it drawing people, you see it changing people's lives. In the beginning, like a seed is planted in soil, it's in darkness, so
Yeah.
you don't see. So, but I understood the importance of stewardship. So my first, when I went over to the ground, there was just these 6 beds, but it was just grass. I have pictures. It was, everything was overgrown. There was nothing there. So I
Okay.
took a rake and a shovel, and there was this young man at the time. A young man, he was a beautiful, beautiful soul. And I told him where I was going, so he came down there with me, and I just started working the land. And then I started, after that, I started cutting it down. Then I started asking questions. Our state's attorney's office was right on 90 something in Dauphine near the fire department. I went to the office. I started asking more questions, and
Okay.
it's that beautiful thing when you talk about something. The important, they say the squeaky wheel gets the juice, and asking it shall be given. Like the importance of asking questions. So sometimes the thing before you, the dream, the aspiration for travel, may seem daunting simply because we removed ourselves from the capacity
Mm.
to do it. So we are not engaged in it. It always feels like something that is far from us. And so for me, the traveling component, the garden component always came with the fundamental aspect of activating faith in a real way, not
Okay.
in a way that it becomes hope. And maybe one day it was like, well, if I see it, it's possible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I always have dealt with things from the place, well, if I am able to realize it in my mind, that means that it's possible. So I'm never ever concerned with what doesn't happen. I'm only concerned with what will happen.
Oh, I love that. Creating it, create the wonderful effect. Yeah, I love this image so much. I just want to show it again because that little baby is learning, honey. She learning from that mama. That mama said, touch that soil. She got on her little gloves. And I do, just love what you're saying about. I don't think people even give it a thought. Like you said, they walk by the beds, but they don't pay it any mind. But you have created an environment where I had to put my man in here, Big E in the garden. That's eating up.
That's fine. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Watermelon.
That's right. So basically, I could do a whole show just on you in gardening. The images, I wish I had more, but your travels are stunning. The experiences are amazing. And so I definitely want to get into that because Man, you got so much to offer us. Let me just start. And we got a comment already. Let me see what's going on. Oh, Sister Zelda Speaks says, Grand Rising, beautiful queen teachers. Thanks for the reminder that anything really is possible. Creating a life is different from just survival mode. That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
I have images, I have videos. It's just like, where do I start? I want to share with people a piece of you. Now, land and when I look at some of these pictures, I'm like, yo, where's she at? Let me show this video real quick, and then you're gonna come back and tell me, where were you? What y'all doing? Check it out, y'all.
Logo, não se acredita que tenha sido deputado, mas tem visto fora. A gente teve a cantar o José, que é uma moda velha, e é das pouquíssimas modas regionais que é exclusivamente brasileira. Não quer dizer que vocês não acreditam.
Oh, okay, I thought they were singing in that. That was a concert interval, an active volcano.
Wow.
In the Azores Islands. So Portugal, it's in Portugal, but Portugal has the mainland and then they have like 9 islands. And so I was on the sailing trip. So we went to 6 of those islands, and those men, they don't come all the time, but the day that we were there, they
Yeah.
actually were doing a concert in Volcano. So you talk about great acoustics. Like,
Wow.
you don't need a whole sound system.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right, right.
cute acoustics. It was just so beautiful. The Azores
Wow.
Islands definitely encourage people. It's not the flights are not that expensive, and I think I do want to share a little bit more about, because I think that economically people are always like, naturally, we feel a bit stagnated or stunted, or we feel just hindered by our
Mm,
ability to be able to travel the world based
mhm,
on our finances. And so a lot of the ways that I travel is I will find flights or things that are in my budget,
mhm.
then I plan my life around it. Meaning, say, for instance, if you're working a particular job and you are going to take a vacation, find flights and a vacation where it is you're able. They were in the beginning when I was in my 20s, I would do things called couch surfer,
Okay.
which is like you would find people that were living in locations and you could stay with them and you
Okay.
could learn about the culture. And so that you don't have to pay for the housing. There's so many ways you can still eat healthy and still be able to travel. I mean, they just, and the reason why there are so many things I found was because I knew it was possible and I knew I was going to do it. So first, there has to be something on the inside that begins to stir. It doesn't have to be far away.
Mhm,
America is huge. People don't realize how vast America is when they compare country to country. It's incomparable. You
okay.
could put all of Europe in America,
Mm,
all of
mm,
the countries in Europe. You could put
mm.
in America. France is about the size of Texas.
Okay. Wow.
Jamaica is the size of Connecticut.
Okay.
Japan is the size of California.
Wow. Okay.
Haiti is the size of Maryland.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
when understanding the vastness of it, I tell people start where you are. First of all, every time I come to back to home to Chicago, I am a tourist in my own city. There's
Wow.
so much happening in
That's
Chicago.
that's
So
true.
it doesn't always have to be to another country or outside of the parameters of your own nation in order
Yeah.
to explore. And what I've also learned is traveling is that you always bring whoever you are. So no matter where you go, you're still bringing you. So
Yeah.
it fundamentally, it's to just travel, just to have it on your belt. That's great. But what we want is to be a part of the experience. I know many of my friends who are very, very well known artists and celebrities, and they've traveled to so many countries, but they've never been there. They don't know the culture, they don't know the people, they haven't experienced it. They stayed in a hotel. So, yes,
Okay.
they've been to another country. But for me, it was about experience the country. So I would get on their public transportation. I would
Mhm.
find ways to travel
Yeah.
um, within the parameters of where I'm at, and also being aware of my own budget.
Yeah.
Like, but I don't have limitations on myself. I don't feel as if, when I go, it's like, okay, so I have this, and this is what I'm gonna try this restaurant, and this is what I'm gonna spend.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
learned about conversions. I pray a lot. So, going into spaces, especially if you're dealing with countries that are of a different, when you're dealing with like countries that are very, very much male centered,
Yeah. Okay.
Islamic countries, and there is not a lot of regard or respect for women and value, you really do have to go with a different type of temperament and a different type of posture internally about
Mm-hmm.
sovereignty, about one's own. That's in Istanbul. That's from further back.
Mm-hmm. You could keep talking. I'm gonna just be showing pictures because I got so many. Girl, you just keep on rolling because you
Yeah,
when you talk about countries, women, I want people to see you in those environments. Like what we talking about now is like I mean, some of these images that you have, I'm like, ooh, vastness. I see, look at this. I see grandeur. What
yeah.
is talk a little bit
I
about
think I think that is in Doha, Qatar, or Oman. I think it's Qatar. Yeah, I think it's Qatar, one of the museums.
okay. And then what
I
about this
forgot
one?
about sending pictures from Beirut. Um, I think that's Qatar too.
Okay. And then here, what's this about?
That's the same Regis where I was staying. So that's in Qatar as well. So I probably have different lumps of beds. So Qatar, Doha, Qatar. The interesting thing about traveling for me is that I will also engage my gifts for employment. So, say for
Mm,
instance, as a vocalist, what I would do, or if I am teaching, the arts, what I would do is look for opportunities. I was in Al Jazeera. I mean, that's the Al Jazeera TV station.
mm-hmm.
So one of the goals for me was, what skills do I have? How can I employ that skills? Have the negotiate trade where companies would pay for me to travel to their country,
Mm-hmm.
perform, have a residency where I'm also being paid to be there, and they also take care of my housing. So
Mm,
negotiating skills. If you have a skill set, whatever that might be. It may not be in the performing arts. Um, it may be in the service industry. Qatar was needing. There are so many countries that need like people in the healthcare, profession. And if you need people in the healthcare profession, you also need people in administration. There are people that are looking for vloggers and bloggers. There's so much money is currency. It's always
mm-hmm.
flowing. It's always flowing.
Right.
So a lot of times when people when they remove themselves from their life's equation and life just becomes something that somebody else is sort of narrating or someone else is creating, then they
Mm-hmm.
remove themselves from the economy of themselves.
Wow.
So you
The
are an
economy of
economy.
themselves. Wow.
Yeah. So you have an economy. You are an economy, clearly, because if you're receiving a wage, or if you have found a way to be able to make money to sustain and maintain your life, you
Mm-hmm.
have an economy. There's a
Mm-hmm.
reason why black spending power of black Americans is over $1 trillion. It'll be about 3 trillion soon.
Yeah.
So because we're an economy, and so
Mm-hmm.
because the narration, especially about black Americans, is always told in a sense of depravity, in a sense of poverty, and that's intentional because psychologically, if you can remove people from their sovereignty and agency and ability to be able to
Mm-hmm.
create money, then you remove them from their ability to negotiate fair trade for their value.
Wow.
So as long as people are engaged, so it's important to know that you are an economy. If you're making money and you're spending money, then you become a part of the GDP of any country. We are
Nice.
we are American culture. So
Wow.
I say all that to say is that it's not as important for me to just talk about traveling. I really just want to empower people to see themselves through the things that I'm doing in a way that they begin to unearth possibility, that
Mm.
they're able to participate in their lives. And so I'm like, start on your block. So I ride
Mm.
my bike when I come back, like I ride my bike
I,
to
I just saw you the other day
different
rocking
towns.
and rolling on that bike.
Right. So, but use what you have.
Yes.
That, I
Yes.
guess that's the point, is that that's the idea of faith, is that using what you have in terms of whatever it is that God gives you, he gives it to you for the purpose and the plans for you to prosper. He
Ooh.
doesn't give it for you to just share. I'm not here to just, inspire people and talk about all the things that I'm doing. It's great, but how is that applicable for people who may feel stuck,
Mm.
who may have, it's like, what type of, can you afford an all day bus pass in
Mm-hmm.
the city?
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Right.
have take a lunch with you so you don't have money to eat, but you got an all day bus pass? Get
Yeah.
on that metro train.
Yeah.
Chicago is huge. And when I say gorgeous,
Yeah.
there's a
I
reason
know.
why they want the South Side. There's a reason
It
why they want
is.
to gentrify the South
That's
Side.
right. That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me do this because we got comments, honey. People are commenting. Got Brother Anthony says so amazing. That look, he gonna be on
Okay.
next week, baby. He done
There
been in
you
96
go. What's up?
row, no doubt about it. Then Naima Latif says a volcano, as in a mountain with lava and ash exploding out the top.
Yeah, right.
That's
Right.
right. Well, it does cool and it does become a thing thereafter. That's
Yeah.
well, I just learned about a country, Mauritius, just the other day. I met somebody who goes back and forth. Mauritius is by Madagascar in Africa, but it was made from
Mauritania? Okay.
not Mauritania. That's near Senegal. It's called
Mauritius?
Mauritius. Yeah,
Okay.
Mauritius. There goes
Oh,
somebody else.
Mauritius. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. And then it says here, unless you're looking at a satellite photo of Earth from space, the maps are usually very distorted when it comes to the actual size of countries.
It's
Big
true.
time, massively, massively. So just knowing that, and a lot of that comes from travel and really seeing for yourself. I always tell people, they say things to me like, "Oh, I know you're busy," and I'm like, "How do you know that?" Like, you got to go by your own observation. Is my point. Don't just go by what you hear. Go by what you observe for yourself. So before we almost go into a commercial break, but I want to get to another video that just shows your energy. You could tell us where we are. Girl, I can't even tell you how many images I have of you both video, but let's take a look of this and then you tell us what's going on.
we
Was that?
were we were in the so I was sailing on the Atlantic Ocean in Portugal. So this is where we were traveling from the Azores Islands. So that's recent, and so that was a different experience I wanted to give myself. Was something that, so when I'm thinking of traveling, I'm always thinking about how do I elevate my faith in terms of an experience that begins to build upon the last experience and then begins to expand into something greater. And so sailing was something that I hadn't done in that way, where we were on a boat for over a couple of weeks and living on a
Mm,
boat, eating on a boat, and going from island to island and understanding a little bit more about the ocean, understanding a little bit more about marine life, understanding a lot more about the vastness of this base of water, which is the
mm.
majority of the earth. And so that in and of itself was just very humbling.
Wow. One of the things you said just now that's so key, you said giving yourself. You gave the trip to yourself. And I don't think people communicate like that. I don't think that they even think to grant anything to themselves. And I guess that leads me to the why. We're about to go to a commercial break in 2 minutes, but we can handle this in 2 minutes. I want to hear, like, what's the why? Why the different countries? Why around the world? What stimulated that in you to just know this is the jam, this is what I'm doing?
Honestly, it was my faith in Christ. Um, in this regard, that growing up inside of a church or people talk about God, it was always about this supreme creator that
Okay.
is the author of all of this life. And so for me, I began to be like, well, if God is really all of that, then I wanted to challenge myself to really allow God to become real in a way that it wasn't just an idea or it wasn't just oratory. It was something that was a part of the lifestyle. So how could I create impossible situations for this God to become relevant?
Wow.
How could I put myself in situations where God was more than just a sermon or a idea? It was a real interaction that allowed for the seeds of my nothing to be expanded by the possibilities of a knowing that this is what I want. Well, if God's God, all right, then I'm just gonna do it then. People like, how you move to another country? I'm gonna use the gift God gave me. Let's see what happens.
Wow.
So that began to stir.
She gonna say the seeds of my nothing. Girl, you better get out of here. Girl, that's my girl. She cold with it. Now, there's so much more, and I have so much more to show, but we're gonna take a quick commercial break, guys. And when we come back, we're gonna delve more into the different places my girl has been. I'm gonna try to get as many images as I can up, and we'll be right back after these messages. Don't y'all go nowhere. We'll be right back. Great day. It's your girl ASADAH here to introduce a new female solution show called ASADAH Says. That's right. Every month we're going to talk about everything I am, from cryptocurrency and financial security to good health and parenting strategies. Come on and talk with me every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And let's do that thing the way ASADAH says it should be done. See you then. Peace, right here on the Female Solution.
What if you could have bought $1 of Bitcoin in 2009 when it was worth less than $0.01, just a fraction of a penny? That means $1 could have bought you over 1,000 Bitcoin. Fast forward to March 2026. With Bitcoin trading around $70,000 to $80,000, that same $1 could have grown to tens of millions. Now imagine discovering Amazon in 1997, Apple in 1980, or Facebook in 2004, right at the beginning, before the world caught on. History shows us those who recognize change early and take time to understand it are often the ones best positioned for the future. What if the next big shift is already happening right now, and most people still don't see it? Welcome to Breaking Free. Breaking Free is more than a book. It's a movement. Do you know money is changing? Do you know what digital money is? What crypto is? For just $5.99, you receive the Breaking Free ebook and audiobook. And right now, Breaking Free also gifts you crypto for free, giving you access to unlock the app, training, a reward payment system, and more. Inside members receive access to learning resources like AI, crypto, wellness, and practical tools to help you learn, grow, and move forward with confidence. Help educate, motivate, and elevate others while earning crypto rewards. No middleman, no delayed payments, no centralized control. Just automated crypto rewards. Just by helping 2 people break free with us, our community grows and more opportunities can open for everyone. If you're ready to learn, and if you want to understand where money is heading, Breaking Free could be exactly what you've been looking for. Speak to the person who sent you this video and book a presentation to learn more. We'll see you on the other side of Breaking Free.
All right, y'all. Thank you for seeing that. That's right. Some of us are out there breaking free, baby, from a whole lot of things. And if you want to know more, there's my number at the bottom. But baby, excuse me, my cough. We're bringing on a sister that is so profound to me, traveled the world. We got a comment, but I'm going to bring her on first. Let me bring her back. Where you at, Pearl? There you go, baby. Now we got a comment already. Some people was like, ooh. So let me see. She said, the sister Zelda says, seeds of my nothing. Awesome, girl. You better say that. So it's just a level of humility, right? Because you looking at, and I love that perspective. I'm going out in the world to see what God got going on. What God got going on and what's my role in that, right? Because I think that
Yes.
to see yourself small, the world don't benefit from your smallness. We know that poem, right? I don't know about her, but it don't benefit from our smallness. But by going out in the world and manifesting your talents in it, I think that is so profound, my darling. Now, just so y'all know, I'm gonna put at the bottom of the screen again. If you because Pearl talked a little bit about the garden. I have faith that it was smooth in the beginning, because on my side it was a little choppy with the garden. But I'm gonna tell y'all this: look at the bottom, and you can volunteer in the garden right here in Chicago. Like she said, it's no place like home, but there's an email down there. I'm gonna keep that up for me. Look at the community joy sanctuary. Okay, sanctuary garden. So there's an email for you to contact if you want to volunteer in that garden. But baby, we got to go back to your world. Let's look at this. Look, what we talking about? Woo wee! Look, what she's standing at the base of. Y'all playing games. She cold with it. So you were in France. You said you lived in France at a point, right?
Yeah, I lived in Côte d'Azur, the south of France,
Okay.
Nice, France.
Okay.
That's of course in Paris. So a lot of places I've been, several times. So it wasn't just like a one and done.
Yeah.
I think again for me, it's the same when I have friends that have visited Chicago from other countries or other states. Is I'm like, Chicago is a place you definitely want to visit more than one time. I think it's absolutely, great to travel, but it's more important to be present. And presence starts where you are.
Mm,
It
mm,
starts with being watching the brilliance that your life has produced in and of itself. Like when you respect your own journey, it gives you greater capacity for appreciating others' cultures and the dynamics involved in being in other spaces. When
mm-hmm.
you are able to righteously acknowledge the brilliance of your own life and what it is that you have been able to accomplish with your life. And a lot of times people feel diminished, but that's the way this world sets it up, specific through a white centric gaze. It
Mm-hmm.
is um, it is created to always diminish your value, to always remove you from any ownership,
Yeah.
from your own experiences and the things that you've done. I have great respect, for mothers and fathers and parents that
Mm-hmm.
are raising and nurturing their children, and
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes not really having the full capacity of that's in Oman, full capacity of the finances that they need or even opportunities. And so because we're always trained to see our lives in its future, we
Mm-hmm.
we miss out on what's happening in terms of the seed that is going to create that reality.
Wow.
So your future is never outside of where you are right now. Your
Yes.
future is becoming through the capacity of your presence in the moment. So if
Mm-hmm.
you can see the beauty in you starting your first place and having to go to the Dollar Tree to get your items, if you can appreciate that, so many times when we are healed, we are seeing our lives through the invincibility of the moments when we have been restored, but we forget. Like I've struggled most of my life with depression and suicidal ideations. And I
Okay.
remember one time going through some things where I was in the shower and I had carpal tunnel and I couldn't hardly wash myself.
Okay.
And I didn't pray for God to heal me. I prayed for God to never let me forget.
Mm, mm.
And so it's that motivates everything that I do, is sort
Gotcha.
of a sense of empathy in the ways that I am engaging with people, because God cares about people. That's the garden, that's the ultimate garden. It's people. And
Mm,
so if the experiences that I'm having, if they can mirror to people the potential and possibility by seeing my frailty, by coming from the south side of Chicago,
mm,
I'm here, by coming from, a place where it wasn't as if I had great capacity and access to all types of money and finances, but I did have access to infinite wealth. And that was faith and my connection with God and the possibility that God will not show you something that is not possible. God will not give
Mm.
you a desire for something that's going to be dormant. So
Wow.
it will take an audacious type of faith. It does take an audacity. You
Mhm.
have to assert yourself into your own life as somebody that's worthy to be able to say it's going to happen. And you live it. You're showing I mean, you live it. You live it. You're a prime example
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
somebody that's just like, boom,
Yeah.
created. I mean, there's so many things that you have created. The Soul Book Fair of Chicago. Like, that's a big deal.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
for me, I think having the places of brokenness and the things where life would present images of impossibility, and I would go, so, and I'm
Mhm.
still gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No doubt about it. You know, I'm looking at these images. I'm looking at, my God, where is this sister? What's she doing? I'm gonna show a little bit more because we kind of get to live vicariously through your experience. And I'm like, where is this girl with this beautiful scenery? Chicago could look like this too sometime. Now that's why I love that point.
Chicago is gorgeous. Yeah, 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 yeah,
You
yeah.
can't even lie.
Exactly.
Sometimes I'll be like, people call me sometime and be like, where are you in the Caribbean? I'll be like, girl, I'm on 73rd Street, girl. Now,
Right.
right.
I don't.
Now, some
I
of the
think that might be.
architecture, look at what are we looking at right now?
That might be in Doha. I lived in Doha for like 6.5 months. I was
Okay,
performing at
where's
the Jazz
Doha?
at Lincoln Center. Doha, Qatar.
Got
It's in like the United Arab Emirates near Abu Dhabi, Dubai,
got you.
um, Saudi Arabia. It's right in that space in the Middle East. That is Austria. That is Doha. The other picture is Austria. I
Got
just
you.
thought that was so beautiful. The
Oh my
marble
God.
and
That
that
was
they
amazing.
used for this cathedral. I love architecture.
I
You could
see.
tell so much about a place and the people based
That's
on the
right.
architecture. That one's Istanbul with that point, and that
Yes.
Figlu Müller is, I think that might be, huh,
That's not Germany, is it?
no, but it does have the German. No, that one is. I did live in Germany too, but that
Yeah.
one,
Well,
ah,
it's all good, girl. We just the fact that we know you was there. You took that doggone picture. We know that's not an English. We good. Let me say this because I kind of
I
want to
forgot.
ask. I want to kind of ask about the language. Are you? It don't seem like it is a big deal, but was there any language barrier, like to where you couldn't function? Which I don't think so. But I'm saying that we know that you went to all these countries and they have all these languages. How did you maneuver if you weren't fluent in the languages of that particular country?
Thank God that I come from a country where English, and that's mostly due to Black American culture with music and the
Yeah.
influence where English became is such a dominant language that
Yeah.
there's somebody that knows the language there.
Okay. Okay.
I will learn certain type of phrases, or there are different apps. Thank God for our technology where we can download certain apps. There are even maps that I've had to download that will be offline. Like if
Okay.
I go to places and I'm not able to access the internet,
Yeah.
outside of the residence where I'm staying at, there
Mhm.
are maps you can download. But it's amazing, um, the power of a smile and kindness.
Ooh.
It has
What a
its own language. It
say.
has its own language. And
Yes.
so people empathetically, sometimes I remember I had experienced some things. I think I was in Turkey and I was going to my hotel, and there were these guys, these cab drivers. It was a very weird experience. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, I can see how people get trafficked in countries. I see how people,
Oh, wow.
um, and so, but thank goodness for me and my mother. She taught me everything is a weapon. So
Yeah.
people can feel they
That's
can
my
feel
girl.
your vibe. They can feel your vibe. So
Yes.
I have to take on a different posture sometimes if I feel like I'm in a situation where
Mhm.
somebody might be trying to be a little bit like seedy about
Okay.
it. I put
Okay.
on a different posture. That
Yeah.
posture, like similar to like Mike Tyson. I will bite your ear off. I will take your jugular with my fingernails. Like they can feel it. That's not
Yeah.
even something you have to say. So I have
Yeah.
to go back and forth. So there's a posture that people can feel. Be like, I guess it's gonna be your and my last day on earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
they gonna remember. Somebody gonna remember me. But these guys, I got out the cab. So the cab driver, they had switched mid route.
Okay.
Somebody else got in the car. Then the guy tried to manipulate and say I didn't give him a certain amount. So he took the money down and was like, "Oh, you only gave me this amount." And so something shifted in me. Southside shifted
Yeah.
in me.
South side, baby.
And I was like, I know what I gave you. I have my receipt for currency. Now, it ain't even like whether or not the police, are going to protect me, but it's something on the inside. It's that lion. It's something that is just like from we warriors, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, on this landmass. We've had to be, so we're not docile as history loves to be like, oh, we were just so subject. We are warriors. There's a reason, they have a reason to fear us. We
Yeah.
are definitely not a docile people. So he tried to come in. I was like, I know what I gave you.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't I think that's us. That's one of those. Maybe it's not. I think it's Austria. I don't think it's in
That. Whoa. I'm like, oh
Copenhagen, Denmark,
my
Amsterdam, off of all those countries. But anyway,
God.
he ended up. I got out when I got out, and I was like, I'm not wasn't paying him anymore. I get out the car. There was these three guys. They saw me in my luggage, and they were like, basically, did I need help? And I was like, I'm looking for this hotel. And they helped me get where I had to go and help me with my luggage. So there's
Okay.
something very beautiful that happens around the world with people where they understand distress signals. They can
Mm,
understand happiness. Like we vibrationally, we can feel each other.
yeah.
And that's that part of trusting God in everywhere you go, that God that exists in all things is a part of life. And not because people have the same belief systems, but the
Right.
fact that presence is there and people can see it. And there's that. So thankfully, I've been able to be in places. Absolutely. Language can be, it can be, it can be a barrier
Yeah.
if you're wanting to engage further. But
But it
thankfully, we
doesn't
come
have to
from a
be,
country.
obviously.
It doesn't have to be, yeah.
It doesn't have to be. I think it's your perspective on, just like you said, life, and God is running this, and that's why I'm
Right.
here. And like you said, that was a very powerful statement when you said about a smile. And you'd be surprised how much a smile communicates across all cultures, baby. It pretty much means the same thing. You came across some art in your
I
travels,
love.
man, that I love. Talk about this. What's this energy here?
Ah, I loved it. I take a lot. I didn't send you all the pictures, but I'm always taking pictures of like artwork on walls, whether it be
Yeah,
graffiti. Um,
yeah.
Trying to remember what country this was. I think
Don't even worry about it, girl. There's so many beautiful things. Hold on. I got look at this.
that's in Amsterdam. I think this
Okay.
is in Amsterdam.
What's
They
so
have this place.
go ahead.
Say,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Know what
No,
you
go ahead.
say?
You said they had this place at what?
I'm trying to think of the name of it. There's this place, Christiana.
Okay.
It's like this community that was abandoned, and these people that we would consider sort of like a hippie population. It's just art everywhere, and so the people
Wow.
have created a whole city out of just different types of inspirations and art with nature and the things that they've used in their surroundings, and it's just so colorful. It's
What's
just
so
so colorful.
crazy? Look, this wall reminds me of the Ndebele and in Africa. I'm trying to think of the country in this moment, but they do this sort of mosaic looking, or like
Mm.
the shapes. They don't do mosaics, but it's the shapes and the colors that this reminds me of. And I'm like, but this ain't Africa, baby. But that's look inspired for sure. I love this. What is this little house of
I think
fabric?
that's Christian, and that might be as well in Amsterdam.
Okay. Okay. Love
I
it. I
think
love,
it's
because you when you go to certain countries, you see colorful houses and what have you.
yeah.
But it's interesting to see how people adapted and in what environments. Now, what is this language right here?
That is in Amsterdam. So that's the area Christians haven't. That would, I think it's not Dutch. Blah blah blah. The Dutch people. Yeah, in Amsterdam.
No problem. That's good enough for us,
I
baby. And
forget.
what about this? Because I love when you capture, like you said, architecture. Homie, whoever made this said we're gonna do a spaceship right in the middle of the jam.
I
We're
know
gonna
that
do
might
right,
be. I don't know if it's Beirut.
okay. You sent me a lot of pictures, and at one point I was like, "All right, she just gonna have to tell us the difference because it's just so many, so many I couldn't even put on the screen." But man, you
Okay.
gave me so much, and I love it. You even have more video. I want to do a little bit more of that so that people can see. I love this. Let's take a quick look at this.
I wonder if that was Pico Island. It was one of the Azores Islands.
Okay.
Like I said, we visited six, so that was, I think it was Pico Island. But
Oh,
again, it was kind of similar to what Sister Naeem was talking about with the volcanoes. So they have active volcanoes too. Although Iceland has the most volcanic activity in the whole world.
really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
there's a lot of
What
activity.
were
They
we
have a lot
looking
of, but they have a lot of
at? That?
thermal,
What was
a
that?
geyser, like a
A
geyser.
geyser, right?
A small, where the steam comes up. So they have the areas or the sort of caverns in the earth that produces steam from the flow of lava that's happening underneath the earth. And
Wow.
so they have a lot of different thermal. I went to some different um, thermal pools. Iceland is real. They really do have that. We would be in pools in the wintertime. Even when it's cold outside, you would be in a heated pool.
Wow.
And they have some of the their utility bills in terms of energy is so low because they use so much of the geothermal activity to light their homes, to
Wow.
also for heating their homes and everything. A lot of it comes from their relationship that's integral to nature.
I love
So
that.
it's really, really, yeah, it is. It's so beautiful.
Now, what is this here? I'm gonna show this little video. Let me, you up, honey. She'll say, go. Maybe I'll stand up here.
That's another island in Portugal. And so those were just recently in June.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, in June.
yeah, it was recent.
What?
Those are just recent. So those are a lot of the photos from like Portugal and Iceland are even Spain recently. Those are all recent, photos. But that was one of the islands. There was just and you know what's so interesting
What?
is a lot of times again because people think about landmass, they detach themselves from the possibility of connecting. But you can get yourself a round trip flight to the Azores Islands in Ponte Delgado for less than 600 round trip.
Wow.
The cost of living there is also very inexpensive in terms of the euro. So even though it's the euro, which is more than the American dollar, but you can get a lot. The markets are so amazing. So I'm just saying, and even you can find Airbnbs that are very inexpensive.
Okay.
So the possibilities are there to be able to go to these places and spend some time. And sometimes you just gotta like find a ticket really cheap, then go in and deal with, like your vacation days. Like if
Yep.
you got a certain amount of vacation days, then set your vacation days around that budget as opposed to setting the vacation and then feeling like you have to do all of this within that time frame. Begin to restructure your life in the ways that you began to participate and you will see it's so interesting how the command and the assertion of your own sovereignty begins to shift life to accommodate you.
Ooh-wee. Go ahead. Come on, preach it. Let them know. This is important, guys, because I think travel sometimes seems out of our reach. We don't think we can achieve it. I could even say that for myself. I love traveling. I've been around, not all around the world, but I've been places. But I think what comes first in the mind is money. Do I have the money to travel or whatever? Or you're working so hard you don't have the time. But I think this is a different viewpoint about one's existence in general. What are we doing and how do we overlap the two? Now, how do we make the travel and the sustaining oneself just match? Like you said, what's my budget? Go there and then figure it out. Go work it out once you get there and know that what I'm getting from you is that gift to me. That's a very strong point about today to me is your communication for yourself, by yourself, not even about just being yourself, because you're obviously communicating with other communities around the world. But what is Pearl's place in all of this is what I'm getting. And I think that that's important for people to do, to kind of sit back and take a choice about what you want to do and how you want to see the world be the world, basically. Girl, we got about 2 more minutes. I want you to give to the people. We got a comment. Let me see before we leave. Let me get this comment. Oh, okay. Who this is? She said, greetings, sister. And mana. It's all good. I'm not sure who you might be, but go ahead. Give us 2 minutes of your power. What do you want to leave people with? Oh, good. This is a sister. Hi, Divine ASADAH. Brahmana. What's up, baby girl? Thank you for being here. Go ahead, mama. Give him the power. 2 minutes of it, baby.
Just that it's so important to travel where you are. Mm-hmm. And that begins to activate more possibilities because you will only take you wherever you go. Mm-hmm. So everybody's at different levels of awareness in terms of their own capacity. Mm-hmm. And that is a blessing. It's okay to be where you are. And being able to insert yourself into the gratitude of what you are and what you've already done. You don't realize the miracle that you are. You don't realize the possibilities that have been created, whether it came from desperation or it came from you just having an audacity to insert yourself in this life. Put yourself in it. Just find a place within you that allows for you to see yourself, not based on your limitations, but what has been made possible because you dared to believe that you were worth a future. Each of us have different capacities. So it's not about it's not about necessarily traveling the whole world. Mm-hmm. It's about giving yourself an opportunity to participate in your life without the limitations of what is visible, and not allowing life and those situations to somehow remove you from the possibility of expansion.
Hercules. I love it, my girl. You guys, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, Mama Pearl. You done rocked it. I done put up the name, girl, and I might have left her all right. I don't care. Y'all know this is Pearl Ramsey. She's been wonderful today. I'm going to build you a website because we need to see all the grandeur I wasn't even able to show. But you guys, thank you for being here with us on ASADAH Says. We'll see you next Tuesday for another great Black traveler. Thank you, Pearl. And I think we need a part 2, really, because I got more from you and there are more. I know you got more in store. And I want to
thank you for the opportunity, ASADAH Says.
You already got it. Much love to you. See you guys and see you next Tuesday. Peace.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, John Couillon. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.